Wow. Hey guys, welcome to When There Was Talent. Haven't done a video for a while. I've been really busy, like something called life. But I wanted to do one tonight, and I'm surprised I hadn't done this one before. So what you saw there was Van Halen. That was Eruption. What would I say before I begin this? And I'm not going to play the remastered studio version, which I don't know. It probably sounds a bit better. It's a lot shorter. Excuse me. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's 13 minutes. But I'll play up to the part where it normally cuts off. But what I want to say about this is this. You guys probably know by now that I like Alice in Chains. It was my favorite group growing up. I don't listen to it a lot now. I still listen to it, but I remember an interview with Eddie Van Halen saying that something to the effect that when Alice in Chains came by, he thought it was going to be all over. He thought the music had completely changed and it was going to go different. But the reality was, people like Jerry Cantrell, loved Van Halen, and I mean, who didn't, right? In the 80s, early 80s, like I heard them all throughout my brothers were playing them. It's my oldest brother. He's about 10 years older than me. I'm 45, so he's about 54 now. I love Van Halen. I liked all their stuff. And I'm surprised I hadn't done this one before, because this is probably the best guitar solo there is, period. And what I mean by that is, like, you can say Joe Satriani and stuff like that, and I do believe, well, I don't know, it's a hard contest there. They each have their own... They're like different kind of genres. They really are. But they each have their specialty. But this was amazing. And, this was around the time, I remember, in the 1990s. I'm not saying this was. I'm going to get to what this is about, but I have a lot to say about Van Halen. I remember when rap came by, and people don't remember this. I remember the first rap group was like something called the Doughboys. It was before Public Enemy. They were like right at the same time, and just our society changed. It doesn't look the same since rap came, since hip hop, all that gangster rap came. So let's take a look at what this song is. Why did he write it? What's it about? I could do other songs, many other songs that would probably get me thousands of views, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm that type of person. I'd rather do I'm not saying I'm the best, but what I'm saying is that I want to do the songs that are good. So Eruption, so it's obviously an instrumental. It's a solo performed by Eddie Van Halen, and the second track from Van Halen's self-titled 1978 debut. That was my birth year debut album. It's widely considered to be one of the greatest guitar solos of all time. You'll see why. Having popularized tapping. What's tapping? Is a playing technique that can be used on any stringed instrument, but which is most commonly used on guitar. The technique involves a string being fretted and set into vibration as part of a single motion. Guys, I couldn't even pretend to know. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. It segs into the cover of the Kinks' You Really Got Me. Yes, it does. It comes right after, right? And the two songs are usually played together by radio stations and in concert. You know, girl, I can't sing because I have a throat disorder. Girl, you really got me now. The song was later included in the B-side to the group's second single, Running with the Devil. That was good. All the stuff was good. Let's see here. Let's pass by that. It's the Eruption introduction is based on the Let Me Swim introduction by Cactus, American rock band formed in 1969, currently comprising Jimmy Coons as lead singer, Paul Warren. After the intro, an E-flat major quotation at the Etude Number 2 by Ralph Kreutzer, I don't know, is heard. Let's just, the end section begins with a series of rapid two-handed tapping triads. That'll be darned, right? That have a classical-like structure and eventually finishes with a repeated classical cadence, followed by sound effects generated by a Univox. That just sounds old, doesn't it? EC80 echo unit. So, I'm going to get to the point here. It will. So the piece that would later be named Eruption had existed as part of Van Halen's stage act at least as far back as 75, when it featured no tapping, although one-handed tapping, hammer-ons and pull-offs with standard guitar technique. Eruption introduced the two-handed tapping to the mainstream popular rock audience, and it was a popular soloing option throughout the 80s. There's a reason he's popular. So here it is. Initially, Eruption was not considered as a track for the Van Halen album. It was just a guitar solo Eddie performed live at the clubs. But Ted Templeman overheard it in the studios. Can you imagine that? He's overhearing that? Like no one ever heard it before, as Eddie was rehearsing for a club date at the Whiskey A Go-Go and decided to include it on the album. Eddie recalled, "I didn't even play it right. There's a mistake at the top end of it. To this day, whenever I hear it, I always think, man, I could have played it better." So he was just warming up. That's the basic thing. I looked in another, let's look. Yep. While we were recording the album, I showed up at the studio early one day and started to warm up because I had a gig on the weekend at the Whiskey A Go-Go and I wanted to practice. So there's no story behind it. There's no reason except for just to make a good solo. Pardon me, guys. When I'm making these videos, it's while I'm eating, so just mind my eating.
Alright, so now comes my favorite part of the show. It's my favorite part of the whole evening. We've been on tour since March, and I have no better time, any time than right now, because I get to go sit down, have myself a nice cold one, and listen to the greatest rock and roll guitar player in the world, Mr. Eddie Van Halen.
The way it used to be, eh? Nobody holding all their phones. You know what I mean by that, right? A sense of free spirit in him. This is a live version, so don't worry, it's making its way into it. I don't think that part is on the original. It isn't. Like in the studio version. But can you imagine, like, the endurance to play that like that for that long? When they talk about, when I look at the way some people can play guitar, I mean, playing guitar is one thing, but being able to play it really well like this is another. And as I grew up in the rap era, again, gangster rap, I just, sure, it takes, you rhyme and you do all those things, but man, this is talent. This is what I mean. This is why I made this channel. To be able to do a solo for this long and not mess up. That's just insane. Like, that's insane. That ain't it. Wow, man, like, Holy. Can you imagine not just the people who were in that arena, but the people who heard it after? That must have had a long-lasting effect. My favorite solo guitarist is Jerry Cantrell and Joe Satriani, but I think that is right up there with it. It has to be. I can't imagine in someone else who likes the genres of music that I do that wouldn't be up there. To recognize that as being a masterpiece, that's just insane. And to consider that he was doing that as a warm-up for a gig at Whiskey A Go Go. So let's see if there's a bit else on. I know there's more on this, but let's see what else is comprised of this. This would be the end of the studio version. Is that the double tapping that they're talking about? The frayed strings? I don't know. Tell me. That's where they said it sounds like an opera piece. You can see why. That's where I'm going to stop, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoy making them. I've just been so busy in my life lately, and some things take precedence over others. But if you like this, please like it. That makes more people see it. Subscribe if you like it. I'm going to come out with another good one. Before I was just I go pretty quick in looking at songs that I would do. Not that they're not good, but I like looking into them a bit more. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.